In this video, we're going to learn how to resize a string that's stored in dynamically allocated memory using C. The reason why I want to cover this topic is we have a number of videos on this channel where we learn how to resize a string that's stored in statically allocated memory. So for example, if I declare a car array like this called string of size 5, this is statically allocated memory. I can't change the size of this block of memory here. It's always going to be 5 characters in size. What that means is I can store a string into this car array so long as the string, including the null terminator character, does not exceed 5 characters. So for example, I could store ABCD into this car array. But what I can't do is change the size of this block of memory. So if I change the size of this string, I can't make this block of memory smaller, for example, to reflect the new smaller size of the string. Because right now we have the characters lowercase a, b, c, and d, and those are stored at the indexes 0, 1, 2, and 3. And at the index 4, we have the special null terminator character, which ends the string, represented with \0. So what I could do is shorten the string to ABC by storing a null terminator character at the index 3. So if I had string at the index 3 is equal to the null terminator, we would then have the string ABC. And we could output that here. We could have printf, and then %s to output a string, followed by \n for a new line. Then we could have string here to output the string. And if we save, compile, and run the program, we'll get ABC here. Now the thing is, this character here at the index 4 is effectively unused because we have the null terminator at the index 3. We don't really need this extra one here, but I can't resize this block of memory. It's statically allocated memory. We can resize dynamically allocated memory. And that may be ideal because that way we don't have unused memory. Let's go over an example of this. The first thing we'll do is include the stdlib.h library because this library includes the functions malloc, realloc, and free, which we can use to work with dynamically allocated memory. We'll also include the string.h library because this library includes the function called strcpy, which we can use to copy a string. Then down here, instead of declaring a car array called string of size 5, what we'll do is declare a pointer to a car with car star string. What this variable can store is the memory address of a block of memory, and we'll allocate space for a string using the malloc function, and we'll store the memory address of that block of memory into this variable. So we'll have here string is equal to malloc and then 5. So what this will do is allocate space for a block of memory that's 5 bytes in size, and it takes 1 byte to store 1 car value, so we can store 5 car values into this block of memory. The malloc function is going to return the memory address for this block of memory, which we'll store in a string. Then we could use the string copy function strcpy to copy a string into this block of memory. If we pass in string and then the string abcd, what this will do is copy the string abcd, including the null terminator character, into this block of memory here that string points to, we say, by storing the memory address of this block of memory. Now, right now in memory, what we'll have is something that looks a lot like what we had before with our statically allocated memory, because we'll have that string is storing A and then B and C and D and the null terminator. And we can actually access this block of memory using the array notation. So we can use, for example, string at the index 3 to actually modify this character here. We basically have the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 like before. So when we have, for example, the string at the index 3 is equal to the null terminator, what that will do is store that value here and end the string 1 character earlier, and we'll have ABC again. And we can see that if we save, compile, and run the program, we'll again get ABC. But this time, because we have dynamically allocated memory, what we can do is actually resize this block of memory. So that way we no longer have this unused character here. Let's do that. To do that, we'll call the realloc function. If we call the realloc function, what this will do is reallocate this block of memory, and we can change the size of this block of memory. So here we could have string and 4. And what this will do is reallocate our block of memory. So our block of memory will now be 4 bytes in size. And the original first 4 bytes of data are going to be maintained. So we'll still have ABC and the null terminator at this new block of memory. It is possible that the block of memory has to be moved around. And so the realloc function is going to return a potentially new memory address for this reallocated block of memory, which we'll store into string. And now if we save, compile, and run the program, we'll still get ABC as our string. But now the block of memory where that is stored is not larger than it needs to be. We no longer have this index 4 here essentially. Now we could also make our block of memory larger. So for example, we could call realloc and pass it 6 here. We could then store 6 characters at this block of memory. So we could have 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5. And maybe, for example, we want to store A, B, C, D, E, and then the null terminator. We could do that too. Down here, we could have string at the index 4 is equal to lowercase e. So now we have A, B, C, D, and then E. And then at the index 5, we'll store the null terminator. We'll have string at the index 5 is equal to the null terminator. And now we've made our string 1 character bigger. And if we save, compile, and run the program, we'll get A, B, C, D, E. And again, our block of memory is just as big as it needs to be. So in this video, we've learned that when resizing strings that are stored in dynamically allocated memory, we could also use realloc to resize the block of memory itself, so that way we don't have any unused memory. Check out portfoliocourses.com, where we'll help you build a portfolio that will impress employers, including courses to help you develop C programming projects.